Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on YouTube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got you for the next 25 or so. We got a Friday afternoon show for the people. Doesn't happen often, but we hope you enjoy it. You want to comment? Go to youtube.com/The Romanellas. That's youtube.com/The Romanellas. Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1. And of course, the OG social media site, facebook.com/The Rome Show. Thursday night football. Weekend picks, what you watching, Major League Baseball, so much to do. Let's get right into it. Last night, the Jetropolitans took on the New England Patriots. The Patriots bidding to be the number 1 team in the AFC right now. The Jets came out and arguably had the best drive in their 11 weeks of playing football that we have seen. 11 plays, almost 8.5 minutes off the clock, march down the field, touchdown. Great way to start the game. This game started out with 2 possessions, one from either team, that amassed roughly 17 minutes off the clock. The Patriots responded with a 14-play drive to tie the game early into the second quarter. And just like that, we were 7-7 with like 10 minutes remaining in the first half. And the crazy part about it was each team had only possessed the ball one time. From there, though, the Patriots would outscore the Jets a total of 20-7 to take a 27-14 lead in the third quarter. The Jets had another really good drive. Justin Fields, he hit a wide open John Mechie III for a touchdown, and that was the only other scoring the Jets had. Real chance on Thursday night football for the New York Jetropolitans to beat a good team in the New England Patriots. And we know what the Jets are. They're not a good football team, okay? I don't know if we all thought that they would be this bad, but the bottom line, they do not have a quarterback. Justin Fields is not the answer for the New York Jetropolitans. And I think we all knew that, but I think that there was a hope from the Jets fan that somehow Aaron Glenn's effect on the defense, and maybe, just maybe, you'd get a little Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold magic in terms of they leave one organization and with another organization, Baker Mayfield, they figure it out. And that wasn't the case. And the other concern you have here, if you're a Jets fan, is this the head coach? Because it's clear and obvious by the trading of 2 key players in Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner last week that Aaron Glenn has a lot of say in what goes on this roster. I mean, they cut today the guy Adonai Mitchell, and he was terrible last night, but that's who they got back as a part of the trade for Sauce Gardner. Not the main weapon, but he comes for a week and a half, he gets cut. And there's more question marks today than there have ever been. Do you have the coach? Do you have the quarterback? On the flip side, for the New England Patriots, you do have the coach, you do have the quarterback, and you have the foundation for another long sustained period of time for this franchise. And Drake May's making plays like a wily veteran, not like a second-year pro. Last night, he was 25 of 34, 281 yards, one throwing touchdown. And on the ground, Travion Henderson rushed the ball 19 times for 62 yards, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And then he had the hat trick in a receiving touchdown. Henderson had 93 total yards and 3 touchdowns for the game. Stephon Diggs, 105 yards receiving on 9 receptions. And Drake May was making plays all over the field. And the New England Patriots are the prime example for any fan out there that is really down on what their quarterback and coach situation looks like. Just 2 years ago, it felt like you were never going to find a stretch of time where the Patriots were as good as they were from 2000 to 2021 or somewhere in that range. And then you draft the right quarterback in Drake May last year. And then you find the right head coach in Mike Vrabel this year. And that is truly all you needed. And I think out of any team in the National Football League right now, this Patriots team can be considered as one that has a real chance to compete in the postseason. The only concern I have is when you go down their roster, they have played roughly 7 teams with a record of 500 or worse. The best teams that they've played on their schedule are the Steelers, the Bills, the Panthers, and the Bucks. And I think the Steelers and the Panthers are a little bit of a stretch there. The Bills are clearly showcased by that loss to the Dolphins last week. Not as good as we all thought that they would be. And the Buccaneers are simply just the Buccaneers. So I don't want to take away from how good this team has been because they have been really good. Okay. But I just want to keep some realism into the picture here because looking at their schedule, it hasn't been the hardest strength of schedule by any stretch of the imagination. Before we move on here, the current standings heading into week number 11's Sunday slate. The Patriots have a 9-2 record, and they are currently 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 games ahead of the Buffalo Bills, who sit at 6-3. By the way, that victory last night was the 8th straight for the New England Patriots. So they have clearly found their groove. You're listening to The Rome Show here, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas. The Rome Show 1 on Instagram and Twitter X, and The Rome Show on Facebook. Remember, you can comment live on the YouTube or the Twitter if you want to get in on the action. We've been struggling a little bit with the live stream on Instagram, so I am sorry if that is not up and for the people. Some other things that happened as this week has trumped along. Major League Baseball has been announcing their major awards. What do I mean? Cy Young, Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Most Valuable Player. Here is what we got so far, starting with earliest in the week, the Coach of the Year winners for the National League, Pat Murphy in Milwaukee, his second. And in the American League, his second in a row, Stephen Vogt, the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. Your rookies of the year for the National League, you have Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves. He hit 278, 21 homers, 75 RBIs, and an 850 OPS. For the American League, it was Nick Kurtz of the Oakland, San Francisco, Las Vegas Athletics. He hit 287, 29 homers, 88 RBIs, and a 920 OPS. The two major awards, Cy Young and Most Valuable Player, also the two most discussed headed into this award ceremony cycle. Let's start with the Cy Youngs in both the AL and the NL. I don't think there's a surprise here. On the AL side, it was Tarik Skubal. And on the NL side, it was Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. Tarik Skubal, probably 1B comparative. Paul Skeens, a 17-5 record with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He had a 2.38 ERA, 256 Ks, and a 1.02 whip. He had 202.2 innings pitched last year. For the Detroit Tigers, Tarik Skubal, 13-6, 2.21 ERA, 240 Ks, 0.89 whip in nearly 200 innings pitched. Then last night, the big bomb dropped, and that was the most valuable player in the NL. Shohei Ohtani won his 4th most valuable player in the last 5 seasons, 2nd in a row since being in a Dodgers uniform. This is the 2nd time Shohei has been a unanimous. No other first place votes went to anyone but Shohei Ohtani. He was really good on the mound, coming back from Tommy John, and then also had 50-plus homers and 50 stolen bases for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then Aaron Judge squeaked out by 4 votes, beating Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. Aaron Judge wins his 3rd most valuable player, 3rd of his career, hit 309, 54 homers, 132 RBIs. Those are your Major League Baseball major award winners. I know there's a lot of discussion on the most valuable player front, not as much on the National League side. I think that Dodgers team is really good. I think that they could probably win a World Series if they never signed Shohei Ohtani, but it's going to be really hard to believe that they did what they did over the last 2 seasons without Shohei in that uniform. I mean, he's accounted for nearly 100 homers in 2 seasons and a sub-3 ERA on the mound. And he hasn't even pitched all of those, let alone the RBIs and the stolen bases. But on the AL side, I mean, that's a tough one, because I think if you remove both Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge from their respective rosters, neither of those teams are even close to as good as they would or should be without those 2 dudes on it. I don't think Seattle's in the playoffs. I don't think the New York Yankees are in the playoffs. I don't think you could have gone wrong with either. I think it's got to go to Cal Raleigh. That's just my opinion. He was the best defensive catcher, along with the best offensive catcher, along with what he did to literally just guide his team, along with the record-breaking year he had in terms of the history of Major League Baseball. So if I had a vote there, my vote was going to Cal Raleigh based on the historical context of it. And I just truly do believe you deserve that praise for the defense. You're doing that as a switch hitter, catcher. Like, what? Just doing that as a regular side hitter and a catcher is hard enough, let alone the fact that he was able to do what he did defensively. So that's where I stand with it. I don't think it's a wrong decision either way, but this could have been one of the toughest, most valuable player races in a really long time. We're not going to take a really long time on this commercial break. So stick with us here, because when we come back, we run you through the slate of Week 11 Sunday football games, and we give you our
thank you for listening.
We give you our bananas, and that is
Our
favorite day of the week. So stick with us here on the Rome Show, back after this commercial break.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Titan Malugnuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Titan Malugnuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Welcome back in. It's the Rome Show. Friday afternoon special, getting you ready for the weekend. I'm Andrew Romanella. I'm your host here. We're here with you every day. Most days at 7 a.m. Today, 3:25 p.m. in northern New Jersey. Not much time left in this show, so we want to make it count for the people. So let's pop the music on and let's get ourselves going with some weekend. Week 11 picks. National Football League style. Here we go. All right, people, we start off in Madrid, Spain, with the Miami Dolphins looking for their second straight victory against the Washington Commanders. Commanders and Dolphins both come into this game at 3-7. The one thing we have learned about the overseas games is if you expect the game to go the way that it would have gone on American soil, you're absolutely mistaken. That's a fact. So first and foremost, if you're putting your bananas on this thing, the first place I go is the under, because always it takes these teams a second to get acclimated in these international games. The Dolphins, they're favored in this contest by 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and take that number. So give me the Dolphins and give me them laying the 2.5. We have our picks on the screen here. If you want to screenshot it and you want to follow along with us, feel free. Panthers at Falcons. Panthers looking to bounce back after a bad loss against the Saints. The Falcons are just looking to right the ship because one day, about 4 weeks ago, they beat the Bills and we thought they were really good, and it has gone south since. The Atlanta Falcons, however, are favored in this game by the 3.5. I'm going to take Carolina at the plus 3.5. I don't trust Raheem Morris and the Falcons. Buccaneers, they travel to Buffalo. Buffalo's looking to get back. So is the Bucks. Both teams coming off of not very good losses last week. Buffalo is favored in this game by 5.5. I think they're going to win. I think the Bills win this game, but I'm going to have the Buccaneers covering at the plus 5.5. Texans at Titans. Houston favored by 5.5. Not much to talk about here outside the fact that technically the Texans used to be the Titans. I don't know. It's weird stuff, right? Go Oilers. Houston minus 5.5. Bears at Vikings. The Vikings are actually favored in this game, though. I personally think the Bears are the better team, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Bears, and I'm going to take them at the plus 2.5. Giants, they host the Packers. Jameis Winston, the starting quarterback, the Mike Kafka miniature era or long-term era, depending on what happens, starts here for the New York Football Giants. No Cam Scatterbo, no Jackson Dart, no Malik Neighbors. All the good players are out, but you know what? Give me the New York Giants covering at the 6.5 because I do not trust the Green Bay Packers. Bengals at Steelers. Pittsburgh, they're laying 5.5. Give me Pittsburgh at the minus 5.5. They're just a better team. Los Angeles Chargers, they travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Chargers are laying 2.5 on this one. I'm going to take that 2.5, though I think this is a really good line. This is going to come down to the field goal. I got the Chargers and Herbert taking this contest. Really, really good games on the West Coast this week. First, the Seattle Seahawks. They travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Rams are favored in this by 3.5. A really good offense versus a really good defense. I think the Rams are more poised to be a winner, and the Seahawks are trying to continue to prove to themselves and to everybody that they are as good as their 7-2 record. I think they are, and they're 4-0 on the road. So it's a difficult one to pick against them, but I'm taking the Rams at the minus 3.5. 49ers at Cardinals. Niners banged up, might get Brock Purdy back though. Cardinals banged up, don't have Kyler Murray or Marvin Harrison Jr. They got the 49ers at -2.5. I'll take the 49ers at the -2.5. Baltimore versus Cleveland. Don't sleep on the Browns defense any year, but always sleep on their offense. It's just always atrocious. Don't know how this head coach and GM haven't lost their job. That's a conversation for another day. Baltimore laying the 7.5. I'll take Baltimore at the -7.5. Chiefs at Broncos, another good west side of the country game. I think this is going to go a long way into determining who wins this division. Chiefs, they are laying 3.5, though they're 5-4, and the Broncos lead the AFC West with an 8-2 record. But I think that is because the slow starts of the Broncos, and I don't know how much Vegas trusts this Broncos team. I don't know how much I trust this Broncos team, and I will forever trust the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is a second half team in Denver, and I'm not fully sold on the Chiefs yet, but for 1 or 2 weeks this season. So I will take the Denver Broncos at the +3.5. Finally, arguably one of your best games of the week. We'll save a little bit more of this for the old what you watching. But Lions at Eagles. Eagles laying 2.5. I'll take the Eagles at the 2.5. Those are our Sunday Week 11 picks. Let's roll this right into what you watching. Oh, what am I watching? Oh, funny that you should ask. Let's stick with the football games we just talked about. The 2 games I'm 1,000% watching this weekend. If I only had a few hours and I had to choose one slot of games, I'm going 425 slate, okay? But if I had to go specific to, I'm going to Denver versus Kansas City, and I'm going to the Sunday night game, the Lions versus the Eagles. Those 2 games, not only are the playoff implications off the charts on both sides of this thing, but you're going to get 4 really good football teams. 2 really good football games. I am for sure watching those 2. Sleeper, what you watching this weekend? Seahawks at the Rams. Let's continue. What you watching? Funny you should ask. No, it's not just the National Football League. We got some really good hockey on the docket this weekend. If you listen to Thursday's show, you miss it. The Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Rocky Romanella came on, talked about the Canadians and talked about the Boston Bruins and how both teams are playing really well. Well, how about for us? They play each other this Saturday. So what I'm watching is the Bruins versus the Canadians on Saturday at 7 p.m. Finally, our final watching is going to be on the hardwood. That would be the National Basketball Association for those not counting at home. Nuggets. Minnesota Timberwolves. Could this be a Western Conference final matchup again? I don't know. They met in the playoffs last year. All I know is these are 2 top 4 teams in the Western Conference, and anytime Nikola Jokic and Anthony Edwards are on the floor, that's must-see television. That tips off at 8 p.m. on Saturday. That is what you watching, and those are our Week 11
Ba 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 na na. Ba 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 na 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 na.
And that's the Rome Show here on a Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. You know, I had a blast. I will see everybody on Monday morning. Make sure you share it with a friend. Tell them you got to listen to this show. It's electric stuff. Have a great weekend. Andrew Romanella. Until then, this is me saying peace.
Thank you for listening.